What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Before I get started, I've had a number of you guys ask me for the link to my Discord in the comments below. That will be in the pinned comment. In addition to that, I'm also going to post the first unofficial depth chart released by the New York Giants. So both those will be in there, and I'm going to talk about it in this video. Of course, I said in my last video that I was going to make a video on the captains. That was rumored to be coming out. Haven't seen it yet, but I wanted to get a video up on this when I saw it. In terms of the depth chart, being that I've had questions, and I'm sure you guys have had too, as to who's going to be lining up where, who will be in the New York Giants starting lineup. Now, before I get started, I want to say, especially on the defensive side of the football, the New York Giants are going to mix and match. Just because one player is in the starting lineup or the unofficial starting lineup doesn't mean that it is definitive. In terms of the offense and the defense, I mean, the questions that we've had at the skill position, I think we all know who's going to be starting where, right? It was more the offensive line. Andrew Thomas was a slight question mark going into camp, but then when Nate Solder opted out, I think we all knew he was going to be the left tackle. That's where he's been playing in camp. Parrott got a little action there too. I reported on that, but Parrott is not in the starting lineup. The other question, of course, was the right tackle along with the center. On the defensive side of the football, well, the major question mark going into the offseason for me, especially after Conley was cut, who's that second middle linebacker? And who's going to be the second cornerback that is now vacated by DeAndre Baker? Like I said in my last video, though, expect them to mix and match at that second cornerback spot. The other thing that I was really interested to see, and it is pretty interesting, I'm actually encouraged by it, in the first unofficial depth chart is to who is going to be the starting edge rushers for the New York Giants. Now, one thing I will say, I expect all four of the major guys, which of course is Fackrell, Marcus Golden, O'Shane Zimenez, and of course Lorenzo Carter, to share time. I don't think there's going to be any clear-cut guy that's out there 80-90% of the time, but we're going to jump into the starters, some of the guys that, at least as of now, according to the unofficial depth chart, have earned starting roles for the New York Giants. On the offensive side of the football, of course, like I said, we don't got to go over the quarterback. Of course, Daniel Jones, Elijah Penny being the fullback, the three wide receivers with Slayton Tate and Shepard, and Evan Ingram, the tight end. As far as the offensive line goes, like I said, Andrew Thomas cut and dry there. We knew about Will Hernandez, and of course we knew about Kevin Zeitler on the guard spots. The right tackle, I've consistently said this offseason that I expect it to be Cam Fleming, and at least according to the unofficial depth chart, that is the way that it will go. The New York Giants, according to them, will be starting Cam Fleming opening a week. And I mean, that makes too much sense. I would have been surprised if you decided to start two rookie tackles in a new offense that Daniel Jones was learning in his short offseason. Never really ended up, but the way that Matt Parrott, supposedly played in training camp, expect him to get an opportunity if Cam Fleming can't get the job done. But the veteran swing tackle from the New England Patriots, the Dallas Cowboys, will be getting the first start, according to this depth chart, against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday night. At the center position, well, the battle was Spencer Pulley, obviously, versus Nick Gates. Spencer Pulley, the veteran, he has experience there. Nick Gates has played all over the line, but he's just getting acclimated to being a center in the NFL. And from everything that we've read, he's done a great job, and he's done such a great job that he has been named the unofficial starter for the New York Giants for opening week. So there is your offense, the offensive line from right to left being Cam Fleming, Kevin Zeitler, Nick Gates, Will Hernandez, and Andrew Thomas. So hopefully the Hogs get a push up front for the weapons. In terms of the defense is where I think most of the questions lie for us in terms of who's starting, who's going to be playing where. Now, this starting lineup does not include a safety. A slot corner. Of course, it includes a safety. A slot corner is not involved in this. There's not a third safety. There's not, they're going to have so many different formations, but these are the names in their base personnel. And yes, for anybody that question what the base personnel would be, according to the depth chart, it is the 3-4, which I expect. I think I think the players, especially on the defensive line, better suit the 3-4 alignment as opposed to the 4-3. They do have players that are versatile. Kind of like, Lorenzo Carter, I think, is versatile. But on the defensive line, Leonard Williams is versatile. Dexter Lawrence, I think you can move inside and out. But I do think they're best suited in the 3-4. In terms of who's starting where, well, on the defensive line, it's going to be Dexter Lawrence, Dalvin Tomlinson, and, of course, Leonard Williams. And there's no surprise there. They might be the three best players on our defense. I mean, it is definitely our strongest suit. Obviously, B.J. Hill is going to be getting some reps as well. The edge rusher position was interesting to me. You had four names. Marcus Golden, of course, led the team in sacks last year, and he may start, but according to this, he will not be. I did think when they brought him back, they didn't really think he fit this scheme that well, so I'm not surprised. He's not in the starting lineup. I do expect Marcus Golden to get pass rushing opportunities in third and second and long situations, but the two starters are the two youngsters, the third-round picks by Dave Gettleman, O'Shane Ximines in last year's draft, and Lorenzo Carter out of Georgia the year before. Carter's a guy I've talked about I think could break onto the scene this year. I think he fits the scheme well. Everything that you've read, he's done a great job in terms of staying in shape, being motivated, and we'll see if he finally reaches his potential this year under Patrick Graham. So I was excited to see that both Carter and Ximines did make the starting lineup for the New York Giants. The middle linebacker position. Blake Martinez, obviously a given. Our second biggest free agent acquisition this offseason, paying him $10 million a year. He's led the league over the last 3 years combined in tackles. So we knew Martinez was going to be one of the starting middle linebackers. The question was, who's going to be the second one? Well, according to the depth chart, Devontae Downs, who performed very well throughout camp. That's all we heard time and time again. I think he's a former 7th-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings. Does get the nod to be the New York Giants starter opening day. Who did he beat out? Well, he beat out the rookies. Those linebackers that we took the 6th to 7th round, Cam Brown, Tate Crowder, so on and so forth. So we end up going with not that I would call him a veteran, but compared to the rookies, the more experienced player with Devontae Downs, who in college was known for his coverage skills, but he's not fleet of foot. We'll see how he does his first week going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They'll probably be asking him to cover the tight end. In terms of the secondary, well, like I said, this is their base personnel. So Logan Ryan's not in here, but I think Logan Ryan will be playing the slot. They have Jabril Peppers lined up at the strong safety position, along with Julian Love. Those will be, Julian Love and Jabril Peppers are the two safeties. Peppers in the strong safety, Julian Love in the free safety. I think they're going to move Peppers around as well. I think he's very versatile. You'll see him in the box, but that's the base personnel. In terms of the cornerbacks, well, the first one is obvious. The biggest free agent acquisition that we brought in, a guy I'm excited about. He did a great job in the NFC South against some of the best wide receivers the league has to offer over the last 4 or 5 years. Former 2nd-round draft pick from Dave Gettleman. Gettleman brought him in here. James Bradbury. Really excited to him. Bring some stability in that secondary. The guy playing opposite Bradbury, according to the depth chart as of now. Now, of course, they're going to mix and match, like Joe Judge said. But according to this, the guy who's going to get the first crack is the guy that's been in camp the longest out of the guys competing, and that being Corey Ballantyne, the 6th-round pick last year by the New York Giants, who went to, I think it was Washburn, a D3 school. Very fast, very athletic. Struggled last year in the slot, but I'm excited to see if he gets an opportunity this year, if he could get it done. So there you have it. There's the answer to the questions, at least as of now. Expect that to be the base personnel going in. Like I said, Logan Ryan's going to get a ton of playing time. Don't let that list, make you think that he's not starting. Not to mention he just got to the team, so he may not be on that depth chart yet. But that is the first unofficial depth chart. Things that we could take definitively from this. The defense, maybe not so much at certain positions, but I think Downs will definitely be your starting middle linebacker. I think Nick Gates will definitely be your starting center. And I think Cam Fleming, which I think most of us thought will be your starting right tackle. In terms of the secondary, I think it's going to depend on who they're playing week in and week out, how they decide to match up the defense. But they definitely got a lot of pieces back there, and we'll see how they mix and match. As always, guys, if you like what you watch, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.